Hi everyone. What I'm going to teach you in this video is how to divide using something called synthetic division. I will tell you synthetic division does have its limitation. So it can only be used when we are dividing a polynomial by a first degree binomial. In other words, a polynomial that has two terms and it doesn't have anything like x squared or x cubed or x to the fourth. It can only be something with x to the first. So I have the steps listed for you right over here, and we're going to work through those. So first of all, it says write the terms of the dividend in decreasing order. Well, that's already done because look, we went from x cubed to x squared. We don't have an x term, and that's going to be important, but then we have a 3. So maybe you even want to write that 4x cubed minus 6x squared plus 0x plus 3. Okay, just added that because we did not have a term that had a plain old x, first degree. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to set this up. So we're going to put a little pocket over here, and we'll get to that in a moment. But I'm going to take these coefficients and I'm going to write them in order because I'm going to need a column to do x cubed calculations, x squared calculations, x calculations, and then our number or our constant will need some calculations. So we have 4x cubed, we have negative 6x's, x squareds, we have 0x's, and then we have a constant which is a 3. So we're set up our coefficients, and now what we'll do, step number 3, we take our divisor, which is 2x minus 1, we set it equal to 0, and then we solve it. So we have 2x minus 1 equals 0, plus 1, we get 2x equals 1, and then divide by 2 on each side, and we find that x equals 1/2. So we're going to take that value and put it in that little pocket that we made up here. So 1/2 goes here. Now, here's what I want you to think about. Well, first of all, let's bring down the first coefficient. Sorry, we have to get it all set up. Okay? From here on out, I want you to think of mama, mama, mama. Multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. That's what we're going to do. So here's what I mean by that. We're going to take the number in the pocket, 1/2, multiply it by the value here, 4. Half of 4 is 2, and now add. So we add the negative 6 and the 2, and we get negative 4. And now we do it again. Multiply, 1/2 times negative 4 is negative 2. Add down, we get negative 2. Do it again. Multiply 1/2 times negative 2, we get negative 1. Add those down, we get 2. And I'm going to put that 2 in its own little pocket over there. So we start with a pocket over here and we end with a pocket. The reason why I separated that is the 2 is our remainder. Just like if you were to divide, 7 divided by 2, you'd get 3 remainder 1. Well, we got a remainder here, and our remainder is 2. And I separate that out because when we have a fraction in our pocket, we have to take the denominator and divide it into, let's get rid of that. We have to divide it into each of these values. Okay? Now, even though we didn't write it, we were actually dividing out an x along with this value here. So, because we started with x cubed, we will get the result, the quotient will be 1 degree less than that. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and our lead coefficient, our lead term will be 2x squared. Okay, and again, that's because we started with a 3rd degree polynomial. We actually divided out an x, so we're left with 2x squared, and we go right down the line. So minus 2x minus 1. And then our remainder, we just say plus, we take our remainder and we put it over our divisor, which is 2x minus 1. So, a couple things that you should notice that should always be true. The quotient should always be 1 degree less than what you started with. Okay, if you have a fraction in your pocket, you have to divide each of these values by that denominator. Not the remainder though, that does not get touched. Okay, let's go do a couple more. Notice, trying to show you the different ways that you can see division. So notice this one, it says times x plus 2 to the negative 1. That's another way to show division. So let's go through our steps. So let's write these in decreasing order. So we would have 2x cubed plus 0x squared plus 4x minus 6. We're going to set up our little pocket, and we're going to make a column for x cubed. We're going to make a column for x squared. We're going to make a column for x and a column for our number. So let's drop our numbers in there. We have 2x cubed. We have 0x squared. We have 4 x's, and our constant is negative 6. Again, keep the sign with the terms, with the coefficients. Now we have to figure out what to put in the pocket. So we take that x plus 3, our divisor, we set it equal to 0 and solve. This is a little baby equation, so we get x equals negative 3. So we will put the negative 3 in the pocket. We simply bring down the 2, and now we start with mama, mama, mama. We're going to multiply and add, multiply and add, multiply and add. Go ahead and try to do that. Pause the video and let's see what you get. All right, let's see how you did. So, negative 3 times 2, you should have gotten negative 6 here. Add down, negative 6. Negative 3 multiplied with negative 6 gives us 18. Add down, we get 22. Negative 3 times 22 gives us negative 66. Add down, we get negative 72 for our remainder. That number is always going to be the remainder. Now, what's nice about this one, we didn't have a fraction in here. So we don't have to divide these values by anything. So let's remember, this column was x cubed, so this will be 2x squared. And then 6 minus 6x plus 22. And then we take our remainder and we put it over our divisor, which was x plus 3. And that is your answer. Okay, we've got one more for this video. Let's see. So again, this is just another way to show division. Let's write our terms out. We have 4x to the 4th. We have 0x cubes. We have 0x squared. We have 0 x's, and then plus 6. So we're going to have a lot of placeholders for this one, and we just have to do that because we need a column for everything. So we need an x to the 4th column, we need an x cubed column, we need an x squared column, we need an x column, and we need a column for our constants. Let's take these numbers, 4x cubed, 4x to the 4th, 0x squared, 0x cubed, 0x squared, 0 x's, plus 6. We're going to take our x plus 2, set it equal to 0, and solve. So minus 2 minus 2, we get x equals negative 2. That tells us the negative 2 goes in the pocket. Now, we bring down our 4, as we always do. So all of that was just to set it up. Now let's start with mama, mama, mama. Multiply and add, multiply and add, multiply and add. So negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Add down. Negative 2 times negative 8 is 16. Add down. Negative 2 times 16 is negative 32. Add down. Negative 2 times negative 36 is 64. We have a big remainder again. Add down. Put that in its own pocket. And again, we did not have a fraction here, so we don't have to divide these values by anything because the denominator would be 1 if we made that into a fraction. We look and we see we started with x to the 4th, so this will be 4x cubed minus 8x squared plus 16x plus our constant. Oh, is that a negative? Yep, that's a negative. So minus 32. And then, of course, we add our remainder and put it over our divisor, which is x plus 2. So hopefully you did okay with that. That is synthetic division, and that is much better than doing long division. Have a wonderful day, everybody.